Hey, I'm Amy Chang. I'm a nationally board certified health and wellness coach, and this is Healthy AF. In this podcast, I'll be bringing you all things health, from the newest health strategies to how to tackle those personal roadblocks that just will not let you move forward. So buckle in. We're going to be inspired and instructed, and dadgum, we're going to have a little fun on Healthy AF. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Healthy AF. I'm going to talk about something today that I absolutely love to talk about. It is the CrossFit Open. Many of you know that I have been a CrossFitter for like pushing 20 years. If I can make it another couple, we're going to say 20 years. And there's the CrossFit Games, there are CrossFit gyms, and there's the CrossFit Open. If you don't know or you're not familiar with the CrossFit Open is an event that CrossFit gyms put on every year that is a global event where everyone in CrossFit can sign up, whether they just started or they've been doing it for 20 years and they're past their prime, or if they're just getting into CrossFit and they're still excited and still learning new movements. Everybody can sign up to do basically a competition. We do the same workout every week. All the gyms do the same workout every week. And then we compare basically how well we did. And you can expect in the Open to see workouts come out with movements maybe that you don't do so well or are really technically challenging or you don't practice on the daily. And you can expect during the Open that you'll have a judge stand beside you and count your reps. Now, this is important because counting your reps means they're looking to see if you're doing the movements to certain standards. So you've got a person right beside you giving you feedback on how you're doing that movement in real time. So why is this important? And why did I want to talk about this on a general health podcast? Because what I love about the Open is that it is a scheduled time once a year where a whole community has an invitation to check and see actually how well they move and risk trying new things. Risk trying new things and really check to see how are you moving. Now, a perfect example on how you're moving might be a squat. In CrossFit, when we do the Open, we look for a full range of motion, which would be standing up straight and tall, and then squatting down with your hip crease below your knee. And that's what would count as a full range of motion squat. So if you're in the gym and you're doing your squats, every day for however many months, 11 months, and nobody's watching you, you might not know that when you get tired, your squats aren't as deep. Or maybe when you go fast, you don't stand all the way up. But in the Open, there's someone beside you to let you know whether or not you completed the full movement. And I call that getting a mouthful of truth. See, when we actually stop and look at what we're doing, we look at the truth of what we're doing. Now, this applies to so many more things than CrossFit. And of course, y'all know me. I love to learn about life through sport. And there's a lot of things to learn about yourself and others and our relationships in a CrossFit gym. A lot. So when we look at really what the truth is on our movement, you can also look at what really is the truth on your diet. What happens when you write down what you eat? Now, I know that some of y'all have tried this, and many of my clients have. I love this one, right? Like nobody really, we think we're having like so much protein. But then I'm like, okay, great. Well, let's just like keep a food journal. Just write down what you eat and we'll see the truth. And it turns out actually no, that they're only having like, 10 grams of protein for their breakfast. They're not eating any more the rest of the day. Right. Or that 3-ounce size of chicken portion they think they're having. Actually, when they weigh it out, it's like 5 ounces. I had this with a client one time who was working on her nutrition, and we discovered that when we really got truthful about all the things that went into her body, including her water intake and, the snacks and tastes and all that kind of thing, that she was going to the candy bowl at her work where the receptionist was, like between clients. And sometimes when she was stressed or sometimes she just wanted to chat, and she'd pick up 2 or 3 of those the little tiniest tiny Snickers or, Milky Ways or whatever it was. And we counted up how many calories of sugar she was getting, how many grams of sugar and how many calories she was getting in a day of these tiny little candy bars. And when we looked at that truth, all of a sudden she was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. These things happen when we sort of peel back the layers and look, and we're truthful with ourselves. And sometimes it's really surprising. I can't tell you how many athletes who are great athletes and really move well, that when it comes right down to it and we're doing the open and I'm judging them, they're getting no rep because they're not completing the full movement and they don't even know. So let's talk about the truth a little bit, because there's something else that we need when we start peeling back layers and looking at truth. And I've talked about this a lot. I say it every podcast. We need a little grace, because sometimes the truth is uncomfortable. I can tell you from judging many, many, many athletes during CrossFit Opens and CrossFit competitions, sometimes they're not real comfortable with me telling them, no, you did not get your fanny bottom down low enough. And it becomes uncomfortable for all of us. The truth can sometimes be rattling. So how do you continue looking at the truth and making it comfortable enough, because it is uncomfortable? How do you make it comfortable enough so that you'll continue looking at the truth, right? Because if we look one time and it's painful and we just don't go back there again, that's not going to propel our growth. Okay. If you look and discover that you just ate 1,000 calories a day in those little 2 or 3 grabs of the Snicker treats, then you might not be real willing to go back and see like, oh my gosh, well, how much alcohol am I drinking? Or, oh my gosh, how much larger is my rice portion than I think it is at lunch? If it's too painful, we won't look. Okay, so there's some grace that needs to be in there. And I'm going to talk about that in a different episode. I'm so excited. This is going to be about a 3-podcasty episode, all about looking at the truth, taking risks, and putting grace in there to support you in that. Okay, so that's all about looking at the truth. We talk about that a lot. And I'm going to move forward and talk about taking risks. And we're going to come back to the truth too. Taking risks. So in the CrossFit Open, there are movements that we don't typically do, or maybe you're not that strong at, or maybe you've almost got that movement, but not quite. You've never been able to do it. And then the Open comes and the adrenaline is pumping. And your coaches and fellow teammates and co-athletes are beside you, and they're like, you can do it, go. And all of a sudden, you get that first movement. Oh, what a joy. Or flip side, you don't get it. And then they're all around you to be like, oh, man, good work. You tried so hard. It's so close. You're so close, right? Having a supportive environment for taking risks is huge, huge. It's one way we can really take care of ourselves. And that is something the CrossFit community is typically very, very good at. So why take risks at all? I mean, everything's a risk. I was talking to a friend today who's about my age, maybe a little bit older. And I was talking to another friend who is, I don't know, maybe not 20 years older. I mean, 20 years younger, but, younger. So we had a smattering of generational women right here in this conversation. And I said, there's nothing that will make a 50-year-old woman's butthole squunch up like doing something new for the first time. And the lady who is a little bit older for me gave me that look like, oh, yeah. And the younger lady was like, I don't know. So I think, when we're in different life stages, risk hits in different ways. For me, when I was 25, the risk that someone would not like me was a real risk that felt unsurmountable. But the risk of traveling internationally by myself was like, okay, no worries. And now at 50, it's totally changed, right? The risk of someone not liking me has happened and I have survived and I'm okay with that. That's like the tiniest little risk now. But the risk of me traveling internationally by myself is like, oh, this just feels so uncomfortable now. Yeah. So why take risks anyway? Risk grows us. Trying new things, not knowing if we're going to succeed or fail, there is a mountain of growth there. And so what gives us the resilience to risk something that we very well might fail at? I'd say grace. I'd say detaching from the result. When you risk new things, when you try something you've never tried before, and you really don't know what the outcome will be, there's a spot in there that would be so easy to make failing mean something about you that is so hard to tolerate. When I was younger, someone not liking me doing something or acting a certain way or saying something that had someone not like me, I would have immediately made that mean that something was wrong with me or that I wasn't going to have any friends. And that was a risk I wasn't willing to take. I didn't have resilience to fail in that way. I'm so glad I'm not her anymore. I'm so glad that I've evolved through that. So there's that fear of what it means when we fail. And to risk something is to open the door to failure. And so how do you create resilience without failing, without the possibility of failing, and all on your own, your little human fallible self? I say grace. I say it's pulling on that spirituality, that connection, wherever you find it, whether it's in your church or through your friends. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of grace in a good CrossFit gym. When you have 10 people standing around you as you done your very, very best and failed, and you're, flung out on the floor, and you got 10 people coming around you to give you a high five, even though you can't lift your arm. Boy, that's a lot of grace. And it's so easy to have that encapsulated in a gym community. Not easy to have that encapsulated sometimes in our homes, in unknown social situations. But there's resilience to be had in trying. So 2 ideas for today. Get truthful with yourself about really how you're moving, how you're eating, how you're sleeping, how you're relating to other people, who you really are. What excuses are you giving yourself? Where are you not being compassionate with yourself? Where you are afraid to try? And then go try something new. Risk something. Risk it. This is not a place where you're sure you can have it. Do something that you're really not sure how the outcome is going to go. I mean, you don't have to be jumping off a, building. But do something that feels risky and love yourself through it. Yeah. What I absolutely adore about the CrossFit Open is that this is a scheduled time of year for us. If you're a CrossFitter, this is on your calendar. It's going to happen. If you're a normal everyday person, you might not have calendared, hey, get truthful and take a risk. So I'd like to invite you to do that right now. Pick a day, get truthful, and take a risk. What's that thing that you do on a regular basis that you have complaints about? It's time to get truthful, and it's time to take a risk. And it's always time to be graceful with yourself. So join in next time, and we're going to continue this conversation on being truthful, taking risks, and giving yourself grace, and using that for your resilience. I will see you next time on Healthy AF. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Healthy AF podcast. I hope that it has helped you create a new possibility for your health and sets you into action to go get it. If you want more information or if you want to connect with me, visit my website at myhealthylife.coach. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that each new Healthy AF episode will be sent directly to you. Let's take you from where you are to where you want to go.